How y'all doing, man? Um, so as some of y'all already know, I made a vid called um, "The Warrior Spirit Part One," and in that vid, I was talking about the warrior spirit and how it works and everything. And in this video, I want to make a part two because, like, when I didn't have my phone, like I said, I learned a lot, and um, once I learned a lot about the warrior spirit, and that the warrior spirit, I don't believe everybody has the warrior spirit, but I do believe that it can be in some sense awakened. Well, how can I put this? You see, I believe that the warrior spirit is tapped into or awakened through hardships and struggles. It's basically a trial and tribulation to see how far you're willing to go and how much you're willing to go for it. What are you willing to go up and sacrifice for what you want? How many times can you fall down and keep going? How many times are you gonna be able to keep that flare from going out? That greatness within you from dying. You know what I mean? And I believe that a lot of people lack a warrior spirit. People lack dedication or a drive or a will to live or a desire to actually be a somebody or a desire to actually do something or a desire to actually want to become something, because that pain and struggle isn't there to hurt you but to build up your spirit and build up your strength. And I believe people lack the dedication to actually want to do that, want to go through those trials and tribulations and actually struggle and suffer for it, because they're not willing to go through that pain. They want it instantly. They don't want that. They don't want to work for it. They don't want to benefit from the work. They want the rewards. They want everything to be given to them. And because of that, that builds not only a lazy mindset, but it doesn't really work on their spirit or that evolution. And if your spirit evolves, you evolve. You know what I mean? And a lot of people lack the ability to understand that, but they don't even care to understand that, because they're not even willing to go through the pain and suffering to actually get to that happiness, to that harmony. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, we have to be willing to understand that to build a warrior spirit, in some sense, I'm not saying you have to be broken, but in some sense, you have to be willing to keep going. You can test your warrior spirit in many ways, like doing push-ups, like to a failure, or testing how far you're willing to run, or how far you can jog or run. It's not necessarily, warrior spirit isn't necessarily just about how far you can keep going or how long you can keep going, but what you're willing to fight for and what you're willing to throw your fear to the side for. Are you willing to stop being afraid for something, for someone? Are you willing to step out of your comfort zone, knowing that it may be painful or knowing that it may not be easy? Having a warrior spirit isn't necessarily about fighting, just about fighting, or being brave also, but having the heart and courage to help others, and to understand others, and to empathize with others. And people think of warrior, and they think of like a fierce person with a sword or a weapon fighting all the time. And I think one thing that people fail to understand about a warrior, and that warriors need and should not like at all, is a kind heart. I believe every warrior should, in some sense, have a kind heart. I'm not saying you got to be too nice or too gentle. I'm saying that you got to be willing to stand up and help others and guide others and have compassion for others. And this is why I do YouTube. This is why I'm always helping people, because I have a warrior spirit. And with that warrior spirit, I have a very kind heart. Like Goku, for example, like Goku from Dragon Ball Z. You notice how he's a warrior. He's a warrior spirit. All Saiyans, like every anime, everybody, mostly everybody in like Dragon Ball Z are warriors, like the Z fighters, but Goku specifically, he's a warrior. But you notice how he has a childlike mindset, or like a childlike spirit, and regardless of the pain he's going through, he's been through, he's loving and he's kind and he's caring and he's respectful, and he doesn't use any of his power or skills or abilities to do what's wrong. You know what I mean? And that's what's beautiful about him. He's a prime example of what a warrior should be. A warrior should be strong and powerful and fierce and great, but to also have the heart to be compared to others. So like, not to compare to others, but to help others stop comparing them to others, comparing themselves to others, and so having a love and compassion for themselves. I believe warrior spirits have a strong soul, a kind heart, and a will to live for not only themselves, but to live to make a difference. You know what I mean? And I think that's a big part of being a warrior. And I think a lot of people tend to fail to understand that. But at the end of the day, it's like, are you willing to try to understand that? Are you willing to try to suffer? Or when I say suffer, I don't mean like cut yourself or harm yourself. I mean like, are you willing to go through a lot of trials and tribulations? Because that pain is only there to strengthen you. A lot of people see certain experiences and moments in life as something bad or negative, but like, I should have said this in my why video. But when you think about it, I think it's kind of delusional and kind of selfish to to ask yourself why certain things are happening to you. And let me explain to you why. Like at first, when people fail to understand how life works, yeah, I get it. Like, you can ask yourself, why is this happening to me? How is this happening to me? I get that. But when there are so many, when there are billions of other people in the world and things are happening to them that are worse than what's happening to you, and things also happen to them, I think it's kind of selfish to ask that question, because at the end of the day, it's like, sure, like it's happening to you, something bad happened to you, but something bad happens to everybody. So who are you to even complain and ask yourself, why is this happening to me in such a negative way, when something's happening to everybody, and some things are happening to other people that's worse than what you're experiencing. So who are you to even complain about life, or why life's treating you in a certain way, when life treats everybody in a certain way? And life treats others better than others, many better than others, and life treats some worse than many. But at the end of the day, like, that's really just how it is. You know what I'm saying? That's how it operates. So for you to complain and whine about, oh, life this, life that, it's just so selfish. You know what I mean? And I think that's part of having a warrior spirit, to like embrace that understanding of how life operates, and be okay and be able to conform with that mindset and be like, okay, you know what, this happens, that happens. But instead of complaining and crying about it, I'm going to keep on pushing and use my spirit and use the lessons within this life and what's going on around me as inspiration to keep moving. And that's what, you know, having a warrior spirit comes in play, and why it matters to keep yourself dedicated. Because at the end of the day, inspiration can only go so far, bring you so far. I think a warrior spirit should definitely not lack discipline or self-respect or self-honor or the ability to just keep going. I think discipline is a big part of a warrior spirit, because at the end of the day, it's like, without discipline, I don't think there is such thing as a warrior spirit. Because discipline, I believe discipline and dedication shape a warrior spirit and help a warrior spirit or person with strong will to keep going and keep driving and keep fighting, regardless of their pain and struggles. You know what I mean? So I say that to say this: you're amazing, you're great, you're valued, you're knowledgeable, you're powerful, and you should never like let anybody else try to destroy you for who you truly are, what you want to do. And don't let fear destroy you either. I'm gonna make a video on fear too. You know, unity, unity, unity.